Hello, everyone. So I talked about this before, and unfortunately, have to talk about it again. And how we have to face reality, I suppose, in Ireland particularly, that there is evil in this country, mainly in our government, first of all, and in our judicial system. But there is evil people out there that kill people, that do awful things to children, etc. And to be putting it straight to you, to put it honestly to you, this prison is too good for some of these people that do these evil things to children and commit heinous murders and like some of the stuff I could say here, like some of the case, on my community posts and stuff like that. Some of them, I don't think anybody even can comprehend how somebody would do that to another person. Let's put that way. How anybody would do that, and it's just the definition of an evil. Some of this, what I'm talking about, and the only answer to that, because prison in a lot of cases for these people is too good for them. And the only way to do it and to bring back some order, because every day of the week there's children being attacked, being horrible things. I don't even want to go into the details of, but it's horrible stuff that's being done, and not to mention the murders. Some of them, absolutely been dismembered, and other cases of attacking vulnerable people. Take for example, vulnerable older people, raping vulnerable older people, etc. Like this is pure evil. And the only answer to this, because prison, like nobody cares for the justice system of this country. They know it's a joke. Everybody knows it's a joke. The only thing that's going to put the fear of God, because again, years ago people had the fear of God in them, if they broke the law and stuff, that they would face harsh consequences, that they wouldn't get off. And nowadays, you know, you're basically in and out of prison. That's what's happening. I can't go through the amount of people who have hundreds of convictions and stuff, and they go out and do horrible stuff. There was an incident, I'd just say, he had 131 convictions. He went into somebody's, broke into somebody's house and tried to stab somebody, tried to kill somebody. And he'd probably get out again and do the same thing again because he didn't kill the person. So, but this is what I'm trying to say. The death penalty should be introduced in this country, and I don't say that lightly. I've said this before because it would put the fear of God back into people. So if you commit murder, when that you're on death row pretty much. Let's put it that way. That you're going to meet your maker, and I think what's going to put the fear of God back into people. And if they do a heinous crime to children and stuff like that, you're going to meet your maker. As simple as that. Because at the end of the day, nobody's forcing somebody to kill another person. Nobody's forcing anybody to do this to children or other heinous stuff. Nobody's forcing you to do it. It's by their own choice. And that's as simple as that. So they have to face the consequences of their action. But I do think it discourage people from doing it because again, they will face ultimate judgment. That's what I'm trying to say. Ultimate judgment. It won't be just a temporary thing. It's ultimate forever. And they'll face their maker. And I know that sounds harsh, but it is harsh because we have to be harsh because these people with hundreds of convictions and stuff that do heinous stuff every day of the week to children and stuff, they don't care for society. They're dangerous to society. They're dangerous to every law-abiding citizen. And it's my belief, to be generally honest with you, and I hate to say it, because again, these people that do these things could decide not to do it. So that's just the simple thing. If they just didn't do it, it wouldn't be necessary to bring in the death penalty. But again, there's always going to be someone that's evil, that wants to con the system, that doesn't have any respect for society, that doesn't deserve to be around society too, in a way too. Because these people that do these things are heinous. People should never be allowed to walk anywhere in society, that walk around any part of society. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like every 10 minutes we have executions and stuff like that. No. And of course, humanely too. I'm not saying about public hangings and stuff like that. I'm not suggesting that for a second. But if we even executed 100 people or something like that a year, or put 100 people to death a year, not even 100, even though we put 10 people to death a year, it would discourage a lot of people from doing these kinds of acts. And they simply would, because you see it in other countries. I looked at it in Japan, take for example. I've looked at the United States, people that are on death row and stuff like that. And these people that have killed 3 or 4 people. One case I think in the United States, they killed 3 people, and they practically begged. They begged and whimpered after mostly killing 3 people to be basically spared from the death penalty. And thankfully the judge didn't, and that execution was carried out. But that's what I'm saying. He practically begged the judge. He begged on his knees and his hands to be forgiven. But he can beg in the next life. That's what he can beg for his total forgiveness wherever he is now. But that's what I'm trying to say. That's the simple thing. And I know it's harsh, but we have to be harsh because nowadays society's got too soft on crime, and that's the simple truth. We see heinous, I mean military heinous stuff that is inconceivable in any sane society to put up with. And it happens on a regular basis, not just once in the blue moon. It's every week this happen. That's so sickening that this was allowed to happen, and this is happening in our country, that there needs to be harsh punishments, and that's the only harsh punishment, the really, really harsh punishment. As I said, the only needs to be about maybe not even 100, but even 10 a year would send a clear message to people. If you do these crimes, you're putting your neck out there. You're putting your neck on the chopping board, into putting the nicest terms. But that's as simple as that, and that's my view. I know people take a different view to it and say that's not humane and stuff. But this is the thing, we have to look at ourselves for a second. Do we really want a society where people that are dangerous individuals with hundreds, this cases of people with 500 convictions for different things, for assaults and stuff, that are dangerous to society, like are dangerous to society. And this is evil, to be totally honest. But let me know what you think, because it is very important, I think, in the modern world, because we've gone too soft in the modern world. And of course, I'm not suggesting that we execute people just for the slightest wrong thing and stuff, but for the most serious crimes, very, very serious crimes that the world need, not for just, for robbing a few bars or something like that in the shop. We're not going to do that. We're not going to be that bad. But for murder, for premeditated murder particularly, or for like a heinous act and stuff, or assaults on children particularly, and things like that, like unforgivable, simple as that, unforgivable in society. And other heinous stuff too, there should be. But I sadly, and again, I hate to say, and I say this to people, when I was younger, I was against it. But looking at particularly the last 10 years, the world has gone mad. Like, the world has gone mad. And that's just saying it straight up to you. And I be fair with you, that is the truth. And I truly believe that. And I'm not sitting here saying you're a lie. That's what I believe. Like, I was against it. I said it was humane at one stage when I was younger. But unfortunately, these people who do these crimes, they don't understand humane. They don't understand, friendliness. They don't understand kindness. They have no soul. A lot of these people, they have no heart. They have evil, and that's all they have. And that's to be totally truthful with you. And I know people say as a Christian country you shouldn't put people to death and stuff like that, but it is it is a thing that needs to be done to so public order in a lot of cases in this country, because as you see in this country, law and order's just gone out the window, and that's really, in my mind, the only way to do it, to be generally honest with you. And of course tougher sentences and stuff, but for particularly heinous crimes, to put manners, like to put the fear of God, because that's the only thing that would stop people really, really fighting people into doing these not doing these crimes, is the fear of God, the Almighty God, whenever their time comes. And I think that's the main thing. That's what I would be afraid of if I committed one time crimes. I'd be afraid of what comes after. Like, not in this life, but in the next. Like, that's what I truly would be afraid of when my time did come. If I did some of these crimes, that's what I'd be begging for forgiveness for. Because that's the person that really matters when you go there. Because it's not just for a few years, it's for eternity. And I think that's the main thing we need to get across. But anyway, let me know what you think. I know people have different views on this, but unfortunately, as I say, the world has got a lot more dangerous. Ireland has got a lot more dangerous, and there needs to be some kind of law and order brought. And particularly for people to do these heinous things, like unforgivable things. I'm not just, as I say, I'm not just talking about a few Mars bars and stuff. We're not going to go mad over that. But for heinous stuff like this, crimes here I could talk about, have some here notes. I don't even want to go into the details. To be generally openly honest with you, I generally don't want to describe some of this, what was done to children and stuff like that. I don't want to even tell you about it, because it's so sickening that somebody would do this to a child, in some cases. One case here, a 7-year-old. I'm not even going to go into it, but it's heinous. It's absolutely heinous. And it's despicable and it's evil above all else. That's what I deem it as. Let me know what you think. Subscribe more and bye.